Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works by Disney, Lucasfilm, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others out there. Given that a lot of Star Wars fans are really preparing also for the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series also says a lot. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So we have a lot of new Star Wars projects that are being worked on at the same exact time between George, John, and Dave Filoni on exactly how they're going to be able to figure out how to combine both Legends and the current Disney canon and creating that balance for hardcore fans, casual fans, and new fans alike around the globe. Now, a lot of things have been happening behind the scenes for The Bad Batch Season 2, leading to some delays and production issues, and that's exactly why the release date has been up in the air. There really hasn't been anything going on with The Bad Batch Season 2's marketing. That's been put on hold for now, so there's a couple of problems that are lying with The Bad Batch Season 2, and that's exactly why they have the Kenobi TV series and the Andor TV series as the two main focus points for the Star Wars shows from May until August. So on top of all of this, what's really intriguing has everything to do with actress Daisy Ridley and exactly what she had to recently say about the Disney CEO and her time on the Star Wars sets of the sequel trilogy movies, episodes 7 through 9. Now we already know that, actors out there like Daisy Ridley, Mark Hamill, and others have been a little bit more vocal about their experience with the Star Wars universe and have been very much, telling the more honest truth about their experience. So with that being said, with the Ahsoka Tano series now way into development by Disney and Lucasfilm, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are heavily involved in working on The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4 to conclude the series eventually. Now further, it's described, however, that recently actress Daisy Ridley engaged in an interview where she was able to discuss more about her point of view on Star Wars and her role in the sequel trilogy, to where she eventually got on the subject of the Disney CEO. Now, Daisy Ridley goes on to say that when I was working on the sequels, I would have never have imagined the amount of backlash that we would have received with The Last Jedi. I mean, I knew that fans may have been upset with Rian's take on Luke Skywalker, but nothing like how it turned out to be with the backlash. What I really was annoyed about, and how it really annoyed me as an actress, was, of course, who now understands the fans deeply, is how, at the time, Bob Iger blamed the difficulties with the box office for that Han Solo movie on Star Wars fatigue. I just couldn't understand why Bob Iger, of all, would blame the Star Wars fans, essentially, as to why Han Solo did a lackluster job at the box office. This was clearly their way of playing it safe with statements, just as he played it safe with The Force Awakens at the time, when it was being written in early 2014. So let me just stop right there for 1 second about what Daisy says. Now, Bob Iger himself even admitted that they played things safe with The Force Awakens. They wanted to play it very safe because they quote-unquote did not want to repeat the same mistakes that they did, or that George did, with the prequel trilogy movies. And that just goes to show you that they were scared of the fans. They held a lot of things back. They didn't go all the way. And they just seemed like that they were, creators that were scared out of their minds of offending specific Star Wars fans. That's what it came off as. That's why everything was played so safe, and why, Star Wars Episode 7 was very similar to A New Hope in terms of not just environments, but also the layout of the movie. We had a sand-like planet, Jakku, that turned out to basically be Tatooine. We even had a trench run on Starkiller Base. I mean, there were a couple of prime examples in there. But I digress. It was still an entertaining movie at best, but moving on. So she goes on to say that it was one of the biggest complaints I always had with Disney, was how Bob Iger would always cast blame on the poor fans, who just wanted to be happy with these movies and the direction of this franchise. I will be honest that while working on these movies, I did not fully understand Star Wars fans, and Star Wars in general, and how it was supposed to be, but after my research when I wrapped on 9, I can honestly tell everyone now that I believe Disney made some pretty big and terrible mistakes. Iger didn't know what he was doing, everything was playing, of course, things safe, and everything came off as very inauthentic to the entire fandom as a result of that. Personally, I believe that Bob Iger didn't have a great direction of where to go with the Star Wars movies. In the back of my mind, even before understanding Star Wars, I knew something just felt off. Something was not right with all of this. And now, in 2022, where we have creators like John and Dave doing what they can do and doing what they do best, can really actually cast the dark shadow behind and being left behind when it came to the movies. Do I feel sad that I was a part of these films? Not at all. I had such a great fun and amazing time, but what I will say is that it could have been 100% more iconic to the fans, and had every opportunity in the book for Bob Iger to mark these movies down as very classic films, which unfortunately I don't see that happening at all, even with the new fans coming in nowadays. I actually have been in the talks with John and Dave, and though I really can't say anything right now about anything, I think fans should remain excited for what's to come in the next couple of months to years for these new stories to be told. Now, I want to actually go over one big thing that a lot of fans need to know. Now, Daisy Ridley, she's been a lot more vocal lately about her experience on Star Wars and the sets of the sequel trilogy, and everything ranging from her thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy, to Disney as a company, to Lucasfilm as a company. It's just becoming more and more of a common thing, and it's happening more frequently even with actor Mark Hamill, even though some fans don't really believe what Mark Hamill says because he tends to be a flip-flopper. But I digress. The thing about this is that Daisy Ridley is essentially really giving us the full picture of Bob Iger. Bob Iger was not a good Disney CEO when it came to how Star Wars movies were being made. And the fact that, he actually had to force himself to admit that he played things safe a year ago, he said this, with Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and even with Episode 8, The Last Jedi. That really kind of turned things around. That kind of made fans realize that they really did not pour a lot of their creative aspects into the sequel trilogy at all. Sure, they borrowed some elements from Star Wars Legends, such as, Ben Solo essentially being, Ben Skywalker in a sense, in a different way. He was basically a combination of Ben Skywalker, Darth Caedus, aka Jason Solo, and some other characters thrown in there like Darth Revan. You can see the inspiration with the helmet and all. But on top of that, you can really just see what Daisy Ridley is trying to point out here is that she herself didn't understand Star Wars. She admits this now. When she was working on these movies, she was not a Star Wars fan, really. She didn't really understand the franchise. She didn't understand the fans at all, really. And I think that's why for so many years, from 2015 maybe till 2018, I would say around the fall, where she just kept on saying that, all the fans and their opinions are wrong, and the backlash is, totally in the minority. But now you can see Daisy Ridley kind of siding with the fandom and becoming more and more, I guess you could say, closer to the Star Wars fans. And she even admitted herself that she recently has been doing a lot of research on what Star Wars is supposed to be and what it's really supposed to be like and what Star Wars really means to the fandom. And that really does raise a lot of things now. This goes ahead and shows you that people can change, and they will, when certain circumstances come into play. So, overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to